My mother-in-law slapped my 9-year-old son across the face at Thanksgiving and told 15 people he wasn't real family. What she didn't know was that my son had already been secretly named in a surprised me, $2 million trust by the one man she could never control, and within months, the same lie she used to humiliate him would expose nearly $1 million missing, tear her family apart, surprised me, and leave her sitting in a courtroom while her own children testified against her. My name is Arthur Vaughn, and the moment my son looked at me and asked if he really didn't belong, surprised me. I stopped trying to keep the peace and started collecting evidence. Chapter 1. The slap that changed everything. The first time my son was told he wasn't real family, he was 9 years old, surprised me. The second time happened 5 seconds later when nobody stood up for him. Thanksgiving at Vivian Vaughn's house always looked like something out of a magazine. Every surface gleamed. The silverware matched. The candles were perfectly placed, surprised me. Fresh flowers sat in the center of a dining table, long enough to seat 15 people. From the outside, the Vaughns looked like the kind of family people admired. From the inside, they were something else entirely. Surprised me. I noticed Noah tense up before we even walked through the front door. He squeezed my hand a little tighter than usual. "You okay, buddy?" I asked. He nodded too quickly. "Yeah, but I knew that nod for 4 years," surprised me. I had watched my son prepare himself every time we visited my husband's family, not because he was excited, because he was careful. Noah always checked where he was allowed to sit. He always asked before taking food, surprised me. He always watched adults before speaking. Children don't learn behavior like that unless somebody teaches them there are consequences for existing in the wrong place. Inside the foyer, Vivian greeted Madison and Connor first. As always, surprised me. Madison was 13 now. Connor was 11, her biological grandchildren. She hugged them, asked about school, complimented Madison's dress, told Connor how much taller he looked, then her eyes moved to Noah. "Hello?" Just one word, no smile. Surprised me. No hug. Nothing. I felt Noah's hand slip from mine. He lowered his eyes. Grant either didn't notice or pretended not to. I wasn't sure which was worse anymore. Dinner preparation stretched through the afternoon. Football played on the television. Surprised me. Family members drifted from room to room. The smell of turkey filled the house. To anyone else, it probably looked normal. But I noticed the little things. Madison helping decorate cookies with Vivian. Surprised me. Connor being asked to sit beside her and tell stories about school. Noah sitting alone in a corner of the living room, reading a book Arthur had given him before he died. Arthur even thinking his name hurt, surprised me. He had been the only person in this family who never treated Noah like an outsider. The only one who called him grandson without hesitation. The only one who seemed to understand that family wasn't biology, family was choice. Surprised me. When dinner was finally ready, everyone gathered around the table. I was helping carry dishes from the kitchen when I heard chairs moving. Then silence, the kind of silence that makes every instinct in your body wake up. I turned, surprised me. Noah was sitting in a chair near the head of the table, Arthur's chair. My stomach tightened. He hadn't taken it out of disrespect. He loved that chair. Arthur used to let him sit there during card games. Used to sneak him extra pie. Surprised me. Used to tell him stories about building Vaughn freight and logistics from nothing. For Noah, that chair meant safety. For Vivian, apparently, it meant war. "What are you doing?" Her voice cut through the room. Noah immediately stood. "I'm sorry." Surprised me. "I didn't know. That seat isn't yours." He stepped back. "I can move." Instead of letting him move, Vivian grabbed the back of the chair. The sudden motion startled him. Then she looked directly at him, and something ugly crossed her face. Surprised me. Something that had probably been there for years. Before anyone could react, her hand struck his cheek. The sound echoed through the dining room. The plate in Noah's hands shattered against the floor. For a moment, nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Surprised me. Noah stumbled backward. His eyes widened. One hand rose to his face. A bright red mark was already forming. The room disappeared around me. All I saw was my son, and all I heard was Vivian. "He is not real family." Surprised me. The words landed harder than the slap. Madison froze. Connor looked terrified. Richard stared at the table. Vanessa turned away. Grant stood motionless. My husband, Noah's father, standing there, doing nothing, surprised me. The silence that followed felt endless. Then Noah did something that broke my heart more than the slap itself. He didn't cry. He just looked down, like he had expected this, like part of him believed she was right. I crossed the room, surprised me, knelt beside him, gently moved his hand away from his cheek. The mark was getting darker. "Come here, sweetheart." He nodded, still not crying, still apologizing. "I'm sorry." My chest tightened. "You have nothing to apologize for." Surprised me. I helped him stand. Then I turned around. Everyone was watching, waiting, maybe expecting me to scream, maybe expecting a scene, maybe expecting tears. Instead, I reached into my purse, pulled out a large envelope, surprised me, and placed it directly in front of Vivienne. For the first time all evening, she looked uncertain. "What is this?" "My lawyer is already involved." The room went completely silent. Vivienne stared at me, then at the envelope, then back at me, surprised me. I watched the confidence leave her face, not because she was guilty, because she realized this hadn't started tonight. I had been preparing for weeks, maybe longer. Grant finally found his voice. "Aurelia, no, I didn't raise my voice." Surprised me. I didn't need to. I picked up Noah's coat, then mine. "We're leaving." Nobody tried to stop me, nobody defended Noah, nobody challenged Vivienne. That told me everything I needed to know. Outside, the cold Pennsylvania air hit us immediately, surprised me. I got Noah into the car, buckled him in, closed the door, then stood there for a moment before getting behind the wheel. Grant came running out of the house. "Aurelia, wait." I rolled down the window halfway. "Let's calm down." I looked at him, surprised me, really looked at him. The man I married, the man who had just watched my son get slapped. "You had a chance to do the right thing." His face fell. "Aurelia, you stood there." He didn't have an answer because there wasn't one. I drove away, surprised me. For most of the trip home, Noah stared out the window. Streetlights reflected across the glass. His hand remained pressed lightly against his cheek. About 15 minutes into the drive, he finally spoke. His voice was so quiet I almost missed it, surprised me. "Mom? Yeah?" He hesitated, then asked the question I would remember for the rest of my life. "Am I not real family?" For a second I couldn't breathe, not because I didn't know the answer. Surprised me. Because I knew exactly how long that question had been growing inside him. This wasn't about one slap. This was about years, years of exclusion, years of watching other children get treated differently, years of being tolerated instead of loved. Surprised me. I reached over and squeezed his hand. "You are my family." He looked at me. "You always will be." He nodded, but I could see the doubt, and that terrified me. By the time we got home, Noah was exhausted after he fell asleep. Surprised me. I carefully photographed the bruise on his face from multiple angles. I documented the time, the location, the names of every witness present. Then I sat at the kitchen table alone. The house was quiet. My laptop glowed in the darkness. Surprised me. An email notification appeared, Miranda Cross. I opened it. My pulse quickened immediately. The subject line read, "You need to see what I found in Arthur Vaughn's trust." Attached was a document. I clicked it open. Surprised me. And the first name I saw on the original trust agreement was Noah Bennett Vaughn, Chapter 2. The boy they tried to see read the name 3 times before my brain accepted what my eyes were seeing. Noah Bennett Vaughn, not as a note. Surprised me. Not as a suggestion. Not as some sentimental mention Arthur had slipped into a letter. His name was printed in the beneficiary section of the Arthur Vaughn Educational Trust, right beneath Madison Vaughn and Connor Vaughn. My son had been included. Surprised me. Legally, deliberately. Completely. For a long moment, I just sat there with the laptop open in front of me, the kitchen dark around me. Noah asleep down the hall with a bruise on his cheek, and the truth staring back from the screen. Surprised me. Vivienne had not only told my son he was not family, someone had already tried to make that lie official. I did not sleep that night. By morning, the house felt too still. Grant had not come home. Surprised me. He had sent one text just after midnight saying he was staying at his mother's because everyone was upset, everyone. Not Noah, not our son, everyone. I left the message unanswered. Noah came into the kitchen wearing his rocket pajamas. Surprised me. His hair flattened on one side, his face pale in the weak November light. The bruise on his cheek had darkened overnight, purple at the edges, yellow beginning underneath. He avoided the shiny side of the toaster, avoided the hallway mirror, surprised me, avoided anything that might show him what Vivian had done. I made pancakes because they were his favorite. He cut one into tiny pieces, moved them around the plate, and ate almost nothing. "You don't have to go to school today," I said. Surprised me. He kept looking down. "I can go. You don't have to be brave for me." His fork stopped. "I'm not being brave." The sentence came out so flat that it hurt more than tears would have. I sat beside him. "Noah." He blinked fast. Surprised me. "I just don't want people to ask." That was when I understood. He was not afraid of pain. He was afraid of being seen. My 9-year-old had learned that visibility was dangerous, and I knew exactly where he had learned it. Surprised me. 4 years of Vaughn family gatherings came back to me in pieces. The Christmas after Grant and I married, Madison opened a new iPad wrapped in silver paper. Connor got the gaming console he had been talking about for months. Surprised me. Noah sat cross-legged near the fireplace with his hands folded in his lap, waiting because I had taught him manners, waiting because he believed if he behaved perfectly, maybe Vivian would finally notice him. When his turn came, surprised me. Vivian handed him a $25 gift card to a store that sold monogrammed stationery and scented candles. Noah smiled. He said thank you. In the car that night, he asked me if he had done something wrong. I told him no. Surprised me. I told him Grandma Vivian just needed time. I had thought I was protecting him. Now I understood I had been asking him to keep hoping for warmth from a house that had no intention of making room for him. There had been the photographs, too. Surprised me. Dozens of them, Madison's dance recitals, Connor's little league games, Grant at college, Vanessa in her graduation gown, family beach trips, Christmas mornings, Arthur's birthdays. Surprised me. A whole hallway of framed proof that the Vaughns remembered what they wanted to remember. Noah was not in any of them, not one. Whenever I asked, Vivian had an answer. He was in the bathroom. He was outside. He had moved at the last second. Surprised me. He wasn't ready. A child can disappear from one photograph by accident, not from 4 years of family history. At dinners, Noah was always placed at the end of the table, or at the kids' table even when there were empty seats with the adults. Surprised me. Madison and Connor were invited into conversations about school, sports, summer camps, college dreams. Noah was praised only for being quiet. Such a polite boy, so well behaved. Surprised me. People say that about children when they like how little space they take up. My phone rang just before 10. The caller ID showed Hershey Elementary School. My stomach tightened before I answered. "Mrs. Vaughn, this is Rachel Kim." Surprised me. The school counselor. "Noah is okay, but I was hoping you could come in today." I looked toward the living room where Noah sat on the couch with a blanket over his knees. "What happened?" "It's about an assignment he turned in before break." Surprised me. "I think we should discuss it in person." An hour later, I sat in Rachel Kim's office, surrounded by soft chairs, children's drawings, and posters about feelings. Rachel was in her mid-30s, calm and careful in the way good school counselors are. Surprised me. She did not rush. She did not pry. She placed a paper on the desk between us. It was Noah's family tree. At the top, he had written Noah Bennett, not Noah Bennett Vaughn, just Bennett. My throat tightened. There were branches for me, for my parents. Surprised me. For Grant, smaller and off to the side. But the Vaughn name had been erased so hard that the paper had thinned beneath the pencil marks. Rachel pointed gently to the bottom corner. Noah had written one sentence in small, uneven handwriting. Surprised me. "I don't think I belong anywhere." I stared at those words. For a moment the room blurred. "I wanted you to see it," Rachel said quietly. "Not because Noah is in trouble. He isn't." Surprised me. But children sometimes tell the truth on paper before they can say it out loud. I pressed my fingers against the edge of the desk. "His grandmother hit him yesterday." Rachel's face changed, not dramatically, but enough. Was he seen by a doctor? Surprised me. Not yet. I would recommend it. For his physical safety and also to document what happened. You don't have to decide everything today, but you do need a record. A record, that word steadied me. By early afternoon, surprised me. Noah and I were in Dr. Benjamin Adler's office. He had been Noah's pediatrician since we moved to Harrisburg. He was kind, gray-haired, and direct in a way I had always appreciated. He examined Noah's cheek carefully. Surprised me. Does this hurt when I touch here? Noah nodded. A little. Dr. Adler asked what happened. Noah looked at me first. I nodded once. My grandma slapped me. The words were quiet, too quiet. Dr. Adler wrote everything down. Surprised me. He took measurements of the bruise, noted the location, the shape, the tenderness, the timing. He asked whether Noah felt safe going back to that house. Noah shook his head without speaking. That answer went into the file, too. Before we left, surprised me. Dr. Adler looked at me. I am documenting this as a facial contusion caused by reported physical assault. I also recommend that you keep your own incident notes and avoid unsupervised contact with the person who did this. I thanked him. Surprised me. My voice sounded calm. Inside, something was shifting, not breaking alizing. On the drive home, Noah leaned his head against the window. Mom? Yeah, baby. Did Grandpa Arthur think I was family? I gripped the steering wheel tighter. Surprised me. The road ahead blurred for half a second. Arthur Vaughn had taken Noah fishing the summer before he died, at a quiet lake outside Hershey where the water looked gold in the evening. Noah had caught nothing and still talked about it for weeks. Surprised me. Arthur had packed peanut butter sandwiches, shown him how to cast a line, and listened to him explain every dinosaur he knew by name. That same summer, I found them in Arthur's library, Noah curled into the leather chair beside him. Surprised me. Both of them reading from the same adventure book. Arthur's voice had been weak by then, but warm. Family is who shows up, not who matches your blood. I remembered Vivienne standing in the doorway, her mouth tight. Surprised me. I remembered Arthur ignoring her completely. I looked at Noah in the rearview mirror. Yes, I said. Grandpa Arthur knew exactly who you were. He closed his eyes. For the first time all day, some of the tension left his face. That evening surprised me. After Noah fell asleep, I scanned Rachel Kim's note and Dr. Adler's documentation into the folder I had started the night before. Photos, timeline, witnesses, medical record, school record evidence. Then my phone rang. Miranda Cross. Surprised me. I answered on the first ring. Aurelia, she said, her voice low and controlled. I reviewed the trust file again. This isn't a clerical issue. My hand tightened around the phone. What did you find? Surprised me. There is an original trust agreement naming Noah as a beneficiary. Then there is a later version where his name disappears. The kitchen went silent around me. Disappears how? Removed. Cleanly. Intentionally. And based on the date, surprised me, it happened after Arthur died. I closed my eyes. Vivienne's voice came back to me. He is not real family, Miranda continued. Someone didn't just insult your son. Someone tried to steal his future. I opened my eyes. This time, surprised me. My hands did not shake. What do we do next? Come to my office in Philadelphia, she said. Bring everything. The photos, the doctor's note, the school counselor's record, and anything Arthur ever gave Noah. Surprised me. I looked down the hallway toward my son's room. For years I had told myself patience was kindness, that keeping peace was protecting him. I knew better now. Tomorrow morning, I said. Surprised me. And for the first time since Vivienne's hand struck my child's face, I felt something stronger than grief. I felt ready. Chapter 3. Arthur. Last gift. The next morning, I drove to Philadelphia with Noah's medical record in one folder. Surprised me. Rachel Kim's note in another, and Arthur Vaughn's trust documents printed and clipped together on the passenger seat. The highway was gray and wet, the kind of Pennsylvania morning that makes every building look tired. Surprised me. I kept both hands on the wheel and tried not to think about Grant. He had come home late the night before, after Noah was already asleep. He had stood in the kitchen doorway like a man waiting for permission to enter his own life. Is he okay? Surprised me. He asked. No. He looked down. Is there anything I can do? I wanted to say yes, I wanted to say, be the man you should have been at that table. I wanted to say, go back in time and move before your mother's hand landed on my son's face. Instead, surprised me. I said, not tonight. He slept in the guest room. By 9:30, I was in Miranda Cross's office on the 12th floor of a quiet building near Rittenhouse Square. It was not flashy. There were no marble statues or gold nameplates, surprised me. Just walls lined with estate files, trust binders, framed bar certifications, and shelves packed so tightly with legal volumes they looked like they were holding the room together. Miranda Cross was waiting for me outside a conference room, surprised me. She was 47, composed, with dark haircut just below her chin and silver at the temples. Her handshake was firm without being performative. Mrs. Vaughn, Orclea, I said. She nodded once. Then I'm Miranda. Come in, surprised me. The conference room table was already covered with documents, timelines, bank statements, copies of signatures, colored tabs. A laptop sat open near the end of the table. I recognized that kind of preparation. Surprised me. I ran operations for a chain of physical therapy clinics. I knew what serious work looked like before anyone said a word. Miranda waited until I sat. I'm going to walk you through this slowly, she said. Not because it's simple, surprised me, but because it needs to be understood in order. I placed my folder on the table. These are the photographs from Thanksgiving. Dr. Adler's report, the school counselor's note. Miranda opened the folder and read without changing expression, surprised me. When she reached Rachel Kim's note, something in her eyes sharpened. I don't think I belong anywhere, she said softly. Hearing the sentence in someone else's voice made my stomach twist. That's what he wrote. Miranda closed the folder carefully, surprised me. Then we are not just dealing with money. We are dealing with a child being erased in more than one way. She turned her laptop toward me. The Arthur Vaughn Educational Trust was established in 2023. Surprised me. After Arthur's doctors confirmed his illness was progressing, the initial funding was $1.2 million. I stared at the screen. $1.2 million. 3 primary beneficiaries were listed. Madison Vaughn, Connor Vaughn, surprised me, Noah Bennett Vaughn. She clicked to the next page. Noah was not added casually. Arthur executed a separate amendment confirming his inclusion. It was signed, witnessed, notarized, and filed with the firm that drafted the trust. Surprised me. He used both Bennett and Vaughn in the document. My throat tightened. He did that on purpose. Yes, Miranda said. I believe he wanted there to be no ambiguity about who he meant. For a moment I couldn't speak. The night before, surprised me. Noah had asked whether Arthur thought he was family. I had told him yes because I believed it. Now I had proof. Miranda hesitated, then reached for the laptop. There is something else. This was stored with the estate file. It is not a will, surprised me. And it is not legally necessary, but it may matter if anyone questions Arthur's intent. She pressed play. Arthur appeared on the screen, sitting in what looked like his library. He was thinner than I remembered. His shoulders narrower, surprised me. His skin pale, but his eyes were still clear. My hand went to my mouth before I could stop it. His voice filled the room, weaker than it used to be, but steady. If anyone ever questions why Noah is included, this is my answer. Surprised me. That boy is my grandson because I chose him. I closed my eyes, Arthur continued. Blood tells one story. Love tells the truer one. Noah sat beside me when the adults treated me like a dying man and nothing more. He read to me. He listened. Surprised me. He made me laugh when I had very little left to laugh about. I know some people in this family will never understand that. I do not need them to. This trust is for my grandchildren, all of them. The video ended. The room stayed silent. Surprised me. I wiped my cheek with the back of my hand, angry at myself for crying and grateful that Miranda did not pretend not to notice. He knew, I whispered. Miranda nodded. He knew enough to protect Noah on paper. Then her expression changed, surprised me. And that is why what happened next matters. She slid another document across the table. It looked almost identical at first. Same title, same formatting, same legal language. Then I found the beneficiary section, Madison Vaughn, Connor Vaughn. Surprised me. Noah's name was gone. My chest went cold. When was this created? August 2024, Miranda said. 4 months after Arthur died. I looked at the explanation line, not of direct bloodline. For a second, surprised me. All I heard was Vivienne's voice at Thanksgiving. He is not real family. She put it in writing, I said. Someone did. Vivienne. Miranda did not immediately agree, which told me she was careful. Vivienne signed as acting trustee. Surprised me. Vanessa Vaughn Coleman signed as witness. Vanessa, Grant's sister, the woman who had turned her face away while Noah stood there with a red mark on his cheek. I felt heat rise in my chest. She knew. Maybe, Miranda said. Surprised me. But we need to be precise. Vanessa is a CPA. If she knowingly witnessed an improper alteration, she has exposure. If she was told it was administrative cleanup and signed without reading, she may become useful. Useful, I repeated. Surprised me. I know that sounds cold. It sounds accurate. Miranda pulled up a spreadsheet. Now we follow the money. For the next 20 minutes, she walked me through 18 months of withdrawals. Surprised me. She did it with the calm precision of someone who had destroyed liars for a living. $48,000 marked for Madison's private school tuition, when the actual bill was less than half that. Surprised me. $36,000 listed as educational enrichment, later tied to a family trip to Aspen. $72,000 under property maintenance, connected to a kitchen renovation at Vivienne's house outside Harrisburg. Surprised me. A down payment on a Mercedes GLS, titled in Vivienne's name. Multiple transfers to accounts with descriptions so vague they seem designed to insult anyone reading them. Family support, administrative reimbursement, special beneficiary needs. Surprised me. By the time Miranda reached the bottom of the spreadsheet, I could barely feel my fingers. Preliminary total, she said, is just under $980,000. I stared at the number. $980,000. Yes, surprised me. But Noah's share would have been roughly $400,000 before growth and distributions, enough to cover most, if not all, of college. Possibly graduate school if managed properly. College, that was the word that broke me, not Mercedes. Surprised me. Not renovation, not fraud. College, Noah's future. Arthur had left him a door and Vivienne had tried to wall it shut. Miranda leaned forward. This is not just missing money, Aurelia. This is Noah's college fund. Surprised me. I looked at the frozen frame of Arthur still on the laptop screen, his face thin but determined. She slapped him, I said slowly. She erased him from the wall, from the table, from the family, and then she erased him from this. Surprised me. Miranda's voice softened. Yes, I left Philadelphia with copies of everything, and a strange calm settling over me. Not peace, not even confidence. That night, Grant was waiting in the kitchen when I got home. Surprised me. He looked like he had aged years in 2 days. His shirt was wrinkled. His eyes were red. Miranda sent me a message, he said. She said you might want me here when you reviewed the documents. I already reviewed them, he swallowed. Is it bad? Surprised me. I placed the folder on the table. Sit down, he did. I showed him the trust. Noah's name, Arthur's amendment, the video. Grant watched his grandfather speak, and by the time Arthur said that boy is my grandson because I chose him, surprised me. Grant had both hands over his mouth. Then I showed him the second version. No Noah, not of direct bloodline. Grant went pale. Maybe Mom had a reason. The words came out automatically, a reflex, a child reaching for the rules that kept him safe. Surprised me. I looked at him until he flinched. You just watched your grandfather call Noah his grandson, and your first instinct was to defend the woman who erased him. Grant lowered his head. I didn't mean yes, you did. That's the problem. Surprised me. He was silent. I turned the bank statements toward him. Your mother spent trust money on her kitchen, on Aspen, on a Mercedes, on things that had nothing to do with any child's education. He scanned the pages. His face changed slowly. Surprised me. Confusion first, then horror, then recognition. I saw an email, he whispered. I froze. What email? Last summer, Mom sent something to Vanessa. The subject line was cleaning up Arthur's paperwork. I saw it on her tablet when I was at the house. Surprised me. She closed it fast. And you said nothing. I thought it was estate stuff. You chose not to know. He squeezed his eyes shut. Yes, The word was barely audible. Then he stood, pulled out his phone, and searched through old messages. Surprised me. His hand shook as he forwarded something to me. I took a screenshot, he said. I don't even know why, it bothered me. The screenshot showed Vivian's email to Vanessa. Need your signature on the cleanup documents. Surprised me. Noah should never have been listed with the children. We will correct Arthur's sentimental mistake before distributions begin. I read it twice, then sent it to Miranda. Grant looked at me with something raw in his face. I'm sorry. Surprised me. I wanted that to matter. I wanted one apology to open something inside me. But all I saw was Noah on the dining room floor. Giving me one email doesn't erase what you did at that table. He nodded like the words hit exactly where they needed to. Surprised me. I know, no, I said. I don't think you do. Not yet. The kitchen clock ticked behind us. I stood across from my husband, the man I had loved, the man Noah had tried so hard to trust. Surprised me. Then I said the sentence that had been waiting in me since Thanksgiving night. Either you are Noah's father, or you are Vivian's son. You cannot be both if she keeps hurting him. Grant looked at me for a long time. His mouth opened, then closed. Surprised me. No answer, not that night. He slept in the guest room again. The next morning, I woke to a text from him sent at 6:14 a.m. I'm calling Elias. I sat up in bed, staring at the name, Arthur Vaughn, Grant's older brother. Surprised me. The man Vivian had erased from the family 20 years before Noah ever sat in Arthur's chair. Chapter 4, the family civil war, had heard Elias's name only in fragments. Surprised me. Usually when someone said it too softly, and Vivian changed the subject too quickly. He was Grant's older brother, 46 years old now, owner of a small construction company outside Lancaster, married to Danielle Brooks Vaughn. Surprised me. An elementary school principal Vivian had once described as unsuitable in a voice sweet enough to poison tea. That was all I knew. Grant knew more. He just had not wanted to remember it. The call lasted 17 minutes. Surprised me. I knew because Grant stood in the hallway with his phone pressed to his ear, one hand against the wall, looking like the floor had shifted beneath him. I did not hear everything, just pieces. Elias, it's me. I know it's been a long time. No, surprised me. She doesn't know I'm calling. Then silence, a long one. When Grant came back into the kitchen, his face was pale. He'll meet us. When? Tomorrow. I nodded. Grant looked toward Noah's closed bedroom door. He asked about him. About Noah? Surprised me. Yes, his voice cracked on the name. He said Arthur used to send him pictures. That stopped me. Arthur sent Elias pictures of Noah. Grant nodded slowly. Apparently Arthur never stopped talking to him. Mom told us Elias cut everyone off. Surprised me. That wasn't true. She cut him off from us. By the next afternoon, the war had already started. Vivienne moved fast. That was one of the things people admired about her when they did not know her well. Surprised me. She never reacted like a person caught doing something wrong. She reacted like a queen whose subjects had forgotten their place. The first message came from Heather Lawson. Surprised me. A woman who chaired half the charity committees in Harrisburg and treated the Hershey Elementary PTA like a political office. Aurelia, I heard there was an unfortunate misunderstanding at Thanksgiving. Surprised me. I hope you're not letting outsiders turn a family matter into something uglier than it needs to be. I stared at the text. An unfortunate misunderstanding. That was what they were calling a grown woman striking a child in the face. By school pickup. Surprised me. The looks had started. Two mothers stopped talking when I passed them. A father I barely knew gave me a tight smile and looked away. Heather stood near the entrance in a camel coat, speaking quietly to another parent. When she saw me, surprised me. Her expression shifted into pity, so polished it might as well have been rehearsed. She approached me before I could reach my car. Aurelia, Heather. She lowered her voice, though not enough. I just want to say, surprised me. Children sometimes misunderstand adult discipline. Something hot and sharp moved through me. I wanted to tell her about Dr. Adler's report. I wanted to show her the photographs. Surprised me. I wanted to ask how hard a woman had to hit a 9-year-old before people stopped calling it discipline. Instead, I said, Noah understood it perfectly. Her smile faltered. I walked away that evening. Elias and Danielle came to our house. Surprised me. I knew him before he introduced himself. He had Grant's eyes, but none of Grant's hesitation. Elias was taller, broader, with work-worn hands, and a face that looked like it had learned not to expect apologies. Danielle stood beside him. Surprised me. Calm and steady, a woman with the kind of presence that made a room feel safer just by entering it. Elias looked at Grant first, then me, then toward the hallway where Noah had gone quiet. "Is he all right?" "No," I said. "But he's home." Surprised me. Elias nodded like that answer told him enough. We sat at the kitchen table. For a moment nobody spoke, then Elias looked at Grant and said, "She erased me long before she erased Noah." Grant flinched. Elias did not soften it. Surprised me. "She took down my pictures, blocked my letters, told the family I chose to disappear, told Arthur I didn't want contact until he drove to my house himself and found out she had lied." Grant looked sick. "I was 22. Surprised me. "You were old enough to know I had not died." The words landed hard. Grant lowered his eyes. "I know." Danielle reached across the table and touched Elias's wrist, not stopping him, grounding him. Elias turned to me. Surprised me. "Vivienne doesn't just punish people, she rewrites them. First she makes you inconvenient, then ungrateful, then unstable, then gone." I thought of Noah's family tree, the erased Vaughn name. "She's doing it again," I said. "She never stopped." Surprised me. The next crack came from Richard. Grant's father called the following morning. He asked if he could come by alone. When he arrived, he looked smaller than he had at Thanksgiving. Surprised me. As if the silence he had lived inside for decades had finally become visible, he stood in my living room, staring at Noah's backpack by the door. I should have stopped her. I did not comfort him. "Yes," he swallowed. Surprised me. I told myself keeping peace was protecting the family. That wasn't peace. I know that now. He gave me dates, conversations, meetings after Arthur died. Times Vivienne said Noah had been included because Arthur was sentimental near the end. Surprised me. Times she said the trust needed to be cleaned up before distributions became complicated. Richard did not become heroic that day. He became useful. Sometimes that is the first honest thing a coward can become. Vanessa took longer. Surprised me. For almost 2 weeks she avoided my calls. Then one night, just after 9, Miranda called. I sat up straighter. What did she say? "She wants to meet privately." Surprised me. The meeting happened at Miranda's office in Philadelphia 3 days later. Vanessa arrived wearing a gray coat and no makeup, her hair pulled back too tightly. She looked nothing like the woman who had turned away at Thanksgiving. Surprised me. She looked like someone who had not slept since. She did not sit at first. "I signed it," she said. Miranda remained calm. "Sit down, Vanessa." Vanessa sat. "Mom told me it was administrative cleanup." Surprised me. She said Arthur had listed Noah informally, but that the legal trust had to reflect direct heirs only. I should have read it. I'm a CPA. I should have known better. "Yes," Miranda said. Vanessa looked at me then. "I am not asking you to forgive me." Surprised me. "Good," I said, "because I don't." She nodded once, accepting it. Then she opened her bag and pulled out a folder. "But my children are in this too." Inside were emails, spreadsheets, internal notes, screenshots from Vivienne's phone. Surprised me. And transfer summaries Vanessa had copied before her courage failed the first time. She pointed to one page. "Mom used Madison and Connor's names too. Private school tuition, enrichment programs, summer academic travel. Some of it was real." Surprised me. A lot of it wasn't. She inflated amounts, then routed the difference back to herself. Miranda's expression sharpened. "Do you understand what you're giving us?" "Yes." "And why now?" Vanessa's lips trembled. "Because if this gets audited," surprised me, "I could lose my license. But that isn't the worst part." She looked at me. "The worst part is that I watched Noah get hit and did what I've done my whole life." I looked away. The room went quiet. Then she slid one printed email across the table. Surprised me. It was from Vivienne. "Noah is not blood. Don't make this sentimental." There it was, not an implication, not a misunderstanding, a sentence, a motive. 2 nights later, Vivienne found out. I knew because Vanessa called me. Surprised me. Crying so hard I could barely understand her. "She knows. What happened?" She said I betrayed the family. Her breathing hitched. She said she was done with me. Before I could answer, I heard Vivian's voice in the background, surprised me. Sharp and cold through another line Vanessa must have put on speaker. You handed strangers private family documents. Vanessa's voice shook, but she answered, No, Mom, I'm done confusing fear with loyalty. Surprised me. The silence after that felt like something breaking. By early January, the Vaughn family had split clean down the middle. Some relatives stood with Vivian because money has gravity and people orbit whoever they think still controls it. Surprised me. Others reached out quietly to me, apologizing for what they had seen over the years and chosen not to name. One aunt wrote, We all knew she treated Noah differently. I'm ashamed we stayed quiet. I read the message twice, then closed it. Surprised me. Shame after the fact is not the same as courage when it matters. Grant was changing too, but slowly, painfully. He signed a written statement for Miranda confirming that Vivian had called Noah temporary family more than once. Surprised me. He admitted he had heard it. He admitted he had said nothing. Then he scheduled therapy with a counselor in Harrisburg who specialized in family enmeshment and emotional abuse. He told me over coffee one morning. I thought if I stayed quiet, surprised me, everyone would be safe. I looked at him. Noah wasn't safe, his eyes filled. I know, that was all he said. For once, it was enough, not forgiveness, but a beginning. Surprised me. The call from Miranda came on a cold Tuesday afternoon while Noah was at school and Grant was at his first therapy appointment. The hearing has been scheduled. My hand tightened around the phone. When? February 6th. Dauphin County Court. Surprised me. I stood at the kitchen window, looking out at the bare trees behind our house. Miranda continued, her voice steady. Vivian spent years controlling rooms. Now she has to answer in one she doesn't control. Surprised me. I looked down at the growing file on my kitchen table, medical records, school notes, trust documents, bank transfers, Arthur's video, Vanessa's emails, Grant's statement, Elia's testimony. For the first time, surprised me. Vivian Vaughn would not be protected by silence. She would be surrounded by everything she thought she had erased. Chapter 5. The day she lost everything, February 6th, arrived cold and colorless. Surprised me. The kind of morning where the sky over Harrisburg looked like wet stone. I stood outside the Dauphin County Courthouse with Miranda beside me, and the courthouse steps rising in front of us. Grant stood a few feet away, quiet, surprised me, hands in the pockets of his overcoat. He had not asked to stand next to me. He had learned finally that some places had to be earned back. Miranda glanced at me. Ready? I looked at the courthouse doors. No, she nodded. Good. Surprised me. Ready people sometimes underestimate what truth costs. Inside, the courtroom was smaller than I expected. No dramatic gallery, no polished television set. Just wooden benches, a judge's bench, flags, fluorescent lights. Surprised me. And the heavy stillness of a room where people stopped pretending once documents were opened. Vivian arrived 10 minutes after us. She wore a cream suit, pearls, and the expression of a woman who still believed appearance could outrank evidence. Surprised me. Heather Lawson sat behind her with two women from the charity board, their faces tight with loyalty that looked less confident than it had a month earlier. Then Vanessa walked in and sat behind me. Richard came next, then Elias and Danielle. Surprised me. Grant sat behind my shoulder, not at my side, close enough that I could feel his presence, far enough that he understood why distance still mattered. Vivienne looked around the room. For the first time, surprised me. I saw her realize how many seats she no longer controlled. Judge Eleanor Whitmore entered just after 9. She was in her early 60s, with silver hair pulled back neatly and reading glasses low on her nose. Her voice was calm, surprised me. But there was nothing soft in it. Miranda stood first. Your Honor, this case is not a disagreement between in-laws. It is a breach of fiduciary duty, misappropriation of educational trust assets, improper exclusion of a named beneficiary, surprised me, and a documented pattern of emotional and financial harm directed at a child. Vivian's attorney objected twice before Miranda finished her opening. Judge Whitmore overruled both. Then the evidence began, the original trust agreement. Surprised me. $1.2 million, established by Arthur Vaughn in 2023. Madison Vaughn, Connor Vaughn, Noah Bennett Vaughn. Then Arthur's signed amendment, notarized and filed, confirming Noah's inclusion. Surprised me. Then the altered version created after Arthur's death, no Noah. Just a clean empty space where my son's future had been. Miranda did not linger on legal language too long. She understood the real story underneath every document. Your Honor, surprised me. This was not an accounting mistake. This was a child being removed from his grandfather's protection after the grandfather was no longer alive to object. The room stayed quiet. Then came the bank records, the inflated tuition. Surprised me. The Aspen trip disguised as educational enrichment, the kitchen renovation marked as property maintenance, the Mercedes GLS titled in Vivian's name, the vague transfers to personal accounts, family support, administrative reimbursement. Surprised me. Special beneficiary needs. Words designed to cover theft with respectability. Miranda placed Dr. Benjamin Adler's report into the record, not as the basis of the trust claim, but as context. Noah's facial contusion. The timing surprised me. His statement that his grandmother slapped him. Rachel Kim's school counselor note followed. The family tree assignment, the erased name. The sentence in Noah's handwriting. I don't think I belong anywhere. That was the moment Vivienne looked away. Surprised me. Not when the money appeared. Not when the Mercedes did. When Noah's words did. Vanessa testified first. She walked to the stand with her hands clasped so tightly her knuckles were white. She admitted she signed the amendment. Surprised me. She admitted she had not read everything. She admitted she had believed her mother when Vivienne called it administrative cleanup. Then Miranda asked, "What changed?" Vanessa looked at Vivienne. "My mother used my children's names too." Surprised me. She inflated expenses under Madison and Connor. She made it look like she was spending money on them, but some of it came back to her. That was when I understood Noah was not the only child being used. Vivienne's face hardened. Surprised me. Miranda showed the email. "Noah is not blood. Don't make this sentimental." Vanessa's voice broke. I should have said something sooner. I did not forgive her in that moment, but I believed her. Elias testified next. He did not dramatize. Surprised me. He did not turn the courtroom into therapy. He simply explained what Vivienne had done 20 years earlier. How she removed his photos, returned his letters, told relatives he had abandoned the family because he married Danielle. Surprised me. "She doesn't just cut people off," Elias said. "She teaches everyone else to pretend they were never there." Grant lowered his head. Richard took the stand after him. He looked older under the courtroom lights. Surprised me. Miranda asked whether he had heard Vivienne speak about Noah before Thanksgiving. Richard closed his eyes briefly. "Yes, what did she say? That he would never be one of us?" A murmur moved through the room. Judge Whitmore looked up. Surprised me. And silence returned immediately. Then Grant stood. I felt my whole body tighten. He passed me without looking at me, not because he did not care, but because he knew this was not the time to ask for comfort. On the stand, surprised me. He looked smaller than I had ever seen him. Miranda asked him what happened at Thanksgiving. Grant answered clearly. "My mother slapped Noah." "What did you do?" He swallowed. "Nothing." The word hung in the air. "Why?" Surprised me. Grant looked down at his hands. "Because I mistook obedience for peace, and my son paid for it." My eyes burned. He continued before Miranda asked another question. "My mother made me afraid of conflict my whole life. But Noah was a child. My child." Surprised me. Fear is not an excuse. It is just the reason I failed him. No one moved, not even Vivienne. Then Miranda played Arthur's video. Arthur appeared on the screen, thin and tired, but unmistakably himself. Surprised me. If anyone ever tries to tell Noah he is not family, then they are the one who has forgotten what this family was supposed to be. The courtroom went silent in a way I had never heard before. Not empty silence, full silence. Surprised me. The kind that arrives when truth has finally said what everyone else was too afraid to say. Vivienne's attorney tried to recover. He spoke of trustee discretion, family privacy, confusion after a death, the complexity of blended family. Surprised me. Judge Whitmore listened. Then she asked Vivienne one question. "Mrs. Vaughn, Why was Noah Bennett Vaughn removed from the trust? Vivian sat very straight. I was protecting the family. The judge looked over her glasses, surprised me. From a 9-year-old child? Vivian's mouth tightened. He was not Arthur's not blood. Miranda stood and placed the email back before the court. Noah is not blood. Don't make this sentimental. Judge Whitmore read it once, then again. Surprised me. When she finally spoke, her voice was cold. That is not fiduciary judgment. That is personal bias. The ruling came 20 minutes later. Vivian Vaughn was removed immediately as trustee of the Arthur Vaughn Educational Trust. Surprised me. An independent trustee would be appointed. She was ordered to repay approximately $980,000 in misappropriated funds, plus interest, penalties, legal fees, and costs. Surprised me. The matter would be referred to the Dauphin County District Attorney's Office for review of potential criminal fraud. Surprised me. The court also noted the pediatrician record and school counselor documentation as relevant context in establishing the broader pattern of harm and exclusion. The gavel fell. Vivian did not cry. That would have required surrender. Surprised me. She sat perfectly still, as if posture alone could hold together a life collapsing around her. Heather Lawson left without looking at anyone. Vanessa walked past her mother with tears in her eyes. But she did not stop. Richard stood slowly, surprised me, stared at Vivian for a long moment, then turned away. Outside the courthouse, the air felt painfully clean. Miranda closed her folder. It will take time to collect everything, she said. But the order is enforceable. What happens now? Surprised me. Now she starts losing the things she used to make people afraid of her. She was right. Within weeks, Vivian's house, the one with the perfect dining room and Arthur's empty chair, was listed for sale at $1.8 million. Surprised me. The Mercedes was sold. The charity board removed her name quietly, which was how polite people handled disgrace when they had helped protect it. Heather Lawson stopped approaching me at school. No apology, just silence. Surprised me. I accepted that as the closest thing to accountability some people could manage. Richard moved out before spring. Vanessa kept her distance from Vivian and focused on Madison and Connor, surprised me, who were old enough to understand that their grandmother had used their names, but not old enough to carry the guilt of it. Elias and Danielle came over for dinner one Sunday in March. Noah was shy at first. Then Elias asked him about dinosaurs, surprised me. And somehow they ended up on the living room floor sorting plastic velociraptors by threat level. It was the first time I heard Noah laugh without checking who might disapprove. Grant kept going to therapy every Tuesday at 4. Surprised me. He did not ask me when I would forgive him. He stopped trying to rush healing just because guilt made him uncomfortable. One evening, after dinner, he found Noah in the backyard sitting on the porch steps. I watched from the kitchen window. Surprised me. Grant knelt in front of him. Noah looked uncertain. Grant said something I could not hear. Later, Noah told me. Dad said he failed me. I sat beside him on the bed. What did you say? Noah looked down at his blanket. I didn't know what to say. Surprised me. That's okay, he cried. I know. I hugged him a little. My throat tightened. Only because I wanted to, Noah added quickly. I touched his hair. That's the only reason that matters. By May, the bruise was long gone. So was the flinch. Surprised me. Mostly, not entirely. Healing is not a light switch. But Noah no longer asked before sitting at our table. He no longer waited to be invited into rooms that belonged to him. Near the end of the school year, surprised me. Rachel Kim sent home another family tree assignment. Noah worked on it at the kitchen table, with colored pencils spread around him. He wrote Arthur Vaughn near the top, then Aurelia Vaughn, then Grant Vaughn, then Elias Vaughn. Surprised me. Then Danielle Brooks Vaughn. He paused for a long time, then beneath the branches, in careful letters, he wrote 2 words. My family. I stood in the doorway watching him. For months, I had thought victory would feel like the court order. Surprised me. The money restored, the trustee removed, the house sold, the public fall of Vivian Vaughn. But I was wrong. Victory was not watching Vivian lose what she stole. Victory was watching Noah stop erasing himself. Surprised me. That was the inheritance Arthur had really left him. Not the trust, not the money. The certainty that he belonged. If you have ever watched someone you love be treated like they were less than family, tell me what you would have done in my place. Surprised me. Would you have confronted Vivienne at the table, or would you have waited and let the evidence speak? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if this story stayed with you, stay with us for the next one.